hello to everyone on the call. I'm Louise Merriman and I'm hosting today's South Yorkshire Bitesize webinar. So for those of you who don't know, I'm the clinical lead for primary care at SYB Cancer Alliance. This is part of a series of webinars that we're running weekly with Health Innovation Yorkshire and Humber, and over each month a different theme will be taken. So we're going to do webinars across cancer, children and young people, prevention, workforce and economy, and September it's our cancer month. The aim of these webinars is to keep the energy around innovation and research, very much in line with the 10-year health plan. We know that it's innovation that will see our health service grow. So I hope that you all feel inspired, you gain insights from all of these webinars and pinch with pride, taking this stuff back to your own workplaces. Today, we're lucky to have Claire and Abby here from Aurora, which is a Doncaster and Bassetlaw charity that supports people with cancer and chronic disease. I'm not going to say more than that. I'll let Abby and Claire do that during their presentation. So over to Abby and Claire.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for being here today. It's lovely to see you all. I'm Claire. I'm the counsellor here at Aurora.
And I'm Abby, Aurora's Digital Communications Officer. We're really excited to be here to tell you about Aurora and showcase all the wonderful work that we do.
Next slide, please. So just to give you a little bit of background about Aurora, Aurora Wellbeing Services actually started back in 2002 at Doncaster Royal Infirmary, and it began as a small support group for women with breast cancer.
In 2016, we became a registered charity and we now operate across 3 sites, Mexborough, Doncaster and Worksop in Bassetlaw. Next slide, please, Nat. Our focus is all about helping people feel better in themselves. We support anyone affected by cancer or long-term health conditions by offering a holistic approach to wellbeing.
Next slide, please. So this is us. That holistic approach begins with a referral into Aurora. So that can come from either a CNS at the hospital, client self-referrals via the website or telephone, or through any organisations, job centres or things like Bassetlaw, community centres, etc. So we then complete a holistic needs assessment. From this, we can tailor make a package of support for the client. Things like counselling, nutritional support, exercise classes, beauty therapy, workshops and support groups, all accessible within our friendly community centre. Next slide, please. So we'd like to share with you just a story of a client that we've had at Aurora, one of my clients, counselling clients, and her experience. So we'd like to play this next video, please, just to give you that insight. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name's Faith, and pre-cancer I was a very active person. I've always been really involved with my family. I have a big family and I love meeting up with my friends, and I loved work, always was a bit career chasing, and yeah, and I just bought a house on my own. Everything had come together.
Yeah, everything was doing really well. And then? So cancer hit.
Yes.
So when was that?
I bought my house, 2nd of June it had completed. I'd just had a job promotion in the May, and then October 7th I was diagnosed. So it was literally, I had a couple of months and then boom, it hit. The months before I was feeling, I wasn't myself. And I knew that, but because I'd had such two major life changes, I just put it down to stress of that causing the things that I was feeling. I was having infections and I had really bad gum infection, and the dentist said, "You've not responded to the gum treatment normally, go to the doctor." So thank goodness the dentist did, to be honest. And then I went to the doctors and they said, "Oh, you need antibiotics for tonsillitis," but they said if you don't get any better, go to A&E. And then that week I went to A&E on the Saturday morning, and by Saturday evening I was at DRI and told it was leukemia, all in a day.
What was the diagnosis they gave you then?
So they said on the first day, like, oh, it's definitely leukemia. And then they took like a biopsy, I think the next day, and that told us that it was acute myeloid leukemia. And the inversion it was inversion 16.
What did that mean to you? Was there an understanding of,
I don't think I even realised it was acute myeloid leukemia until like post-ventilation, because I was just, up until that point, it was just like, every day was a fight.
Could you tell us a bit about sort of how you heard about Aurora?
I actually saw a Look Good Feel Better session on TikTok.
Right.
And then I looked up the Look Good Feel Better. I came for a session. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then we had a bit of a tour. And then we realised that there were all these services for like me basically, who was someone who was going through treatment. And then obviously I got booked in with yourself, and then I also started cancer rehab classes.
Why were they the things for you, do you think, that stood out?
I was a very active person before, and that was like, I felt like a massive hole in me that I wanted to like fill again. So going to the cancer rehab, being in like kind of almost like a gym setting, but it being controlled, because I was like, my immune system wasn't very good, whereas here it was all controlled, gave me that feeling that like from like before cancer, you know, like still being active and being able to like go on a rowing machine again and stuff like that. Like to other people it means nothing, but to me it meant everything.
What do you think the counselling did for you?
When I first started counselling, I didn't associate the cancer with myself. I basically told my story like it was someone else. I didn't connect him with it at all. And I think I didn't realise what had happened. Whereas I felt like I've learned to connect in with the emotions and like actually process what I've been through. I had a bit of an identity crisis at one bit, because it's so hard seeing yourself like before and then how you are with cancer. As people know, like with treatment, you kind of often people gain weight, lose weight. You never look the same, and you're bald, you've got no eyebrows, no eyelashes. It's really, really hard dealing with that body image change. So I really struggled with that, whereas I feel like our sessions helped me through that. First initial sessions gave me the tools that then helped me during the kind of the really bad times. You know, even if it's like preventing myself from like going into that stress response, or like, and being more aware of things, of my emotions and how to keep myself calm.
How do you see Aurora as a setting, as a place for people to come and get that help?
I recommend it to anyone that I know that is like having treatment, because some people might think that they might not need counselling, and I think I'd have probably said that like 3 years ago, like, oh right, I can't imagine myself. But I think everyone needs it, but they don't realise they need it, and especially when you're going through something so major like this and such like a life-changing milestone in your life, that's awful, and you're going to go through them roller coaster emotions. Someone's helped you through them emotions. Like when I'm in cancer rehab, I know that everyone's probably felt at some point as weak as like I've felt, and in that like Look Good Feel Better, like everyone around the table's going through the same thing. We're all sat there in the same position. It makes you feel part of like something, even though in like when you do have cancer, you do feel like individually like quite lonely in this situation, because there's no one I know that's going through what I'm going through.
Is there anything that you think needs to improve about Aurora?
Getting Aurora out there more, because I came across Look Good Feel Better on like a TikTok. If I'd not have seen that, would I have missed out on all this? So only saw other people in a similar situation to me, that kind of the diagnosis is kind of like a bit wishy-washy, that they get to find out about you guys and then they can come and use all the services. In the future, I'd love to see a support group for young people at Aurora. I think it'd be really, really beneficial.
So if you could sum up the impact of Aurora in a few words, what would you say?
Say life-changing.
Really?
Yeah, because without the counselling sessions, I think I'd still be at the situation where I was last Feb, March, where I was completely kind of disassociated with it. And I think I'd have probably stayed like that. You've taught me so much. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you very much. So from coming to Aurora, Faith was able to access a range of support which has had a very positive effect for her. However, some of our clients struggle to access in-person services due to treatment and symptoms. So with the help of the Cancer Alliance, we were able to develop our online support hub.
So I'm going to quickly show you around the Aurora Online Support Hub. If you have your phone, you can scan the QR code yourself and have a look around. We created the hub to make our wellbeing workshops easy to access to everyone. We broke down key topics into short, easy to use resources focused on sleep, stress, relaxation, mindfulness and fatigue. Each section offers practical tips, signs to look out for, and simple guidance to support wellbeing. Next slide, please. The hub is designed to be calm, simple, and supportive, especially for those dealing with fatigue, anxiety, or side effects from treatment. If you could press play, please, Nat. Thank you. It includes guided breathing exercises, sleep stories for rest and relaxation, a full body scan meditation by Claire herself, and creative colouring pages from our heritage team. All the content links back to our in-person services like counselling, holistic therapies, and exercise classes. We're planning to expand it even further with nutrition and movement content to help people support their wellbeing in more ways. We deliberately kept the hub open with no login, no paywall, and no registration required. This means it's free and available to everyone at any time. So people who are newly diagnosed can get support straight away, as well as those around them and even those just looking for some mental health resources.
Next slide, please. So we like to think of Aurora as much more than just a support service. It's a friendly, welcoming community hub where people can connect with others, take part in creative and heritage activities, enjoy social groups, and access therapies and wellbeing support.
Our workshop site is a great example of what can be achieved with funding and community support. A flagship centre bringing all of these services together under one roof. So now let's take a look at the centre in action and see what makes it such a special place. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Our little 1920s style building has a lot to offer and has been described as giving all who enter a big hug. Upon entering, you are greeted with its inviting heritage hub, which has a mix of local history and museum objects, giving people a chance to reminisce about their own heritage, history and family. Valerie's tea rooms can offer homemade delights and daily specials. But more than that, it's a place for friends to meet and strangers to chat and gain new friendships. A place to belong. It is welcoming to all and is a real community hub. Our charity shop is a place to bag a bargain and to chat about your day. Pass the time and have a browse. A place for our volunteers to gain experience, confidence, friendships and a sense of purpose. Here are some of our community groups, workshops and courses. Everything from lace making, paper craft groups to photography and creative writing workshops. Across our centres, our dedicated team of volunteers plays a vital role in supporting our work. Everything from therapy and retail to fundraising and administration. Through volunteering, we aim to provide opportunities for people to develop new skills, build confidence and connect with others.
Hopefully that gave you a feel for what Aurora is all about. Not just support for people affected by cancer or long-term health conditions, but a place for the whole community. Being part of something, having people to talk to, joining a group or getting creative, these things really help people feel more like themselves again. This is especially important for people going through cancer or living with long-term conditions. When life is disrupted, it can be hard to stay connected, and that often leads to isolation, which can seriously affect mental health and well-being. This is why spaces like Aurora matter, where people can feel supported, seen and part of something again.
Next slide, please. So everything we do is about helping people feel more like themselves again, whether that's through counselling, creative activities, gentle exercise, or having a chat over a cup of tea. So thanks again for taking the time to learn more about Aurora. We really appreciate your interest and support. And now we'd like to hand back and get any questions.
Thanks very much, Claire and Abby. That was great. I'm just going to look quickly in the Q&A. We haven't got any questions yet. Please, if you've got a question you want to ask the girls, whatever that is, feel free to put it in the Q&A section. I want to make, I guess it's a comment really from me. Interesting listening to Faith's story, that she didn't really think that she would necessarily benefit from something like this. And I think that's sometimes the trick, isn't it? Getting them in. And when you look at your lovely video of the building, and you know, I've been there, I know how welcoming it is. It does. I do wonder whether we should be saying to our CNSs and all our sort of partners, whether they suggest that patients initially want to come anonymously to the tea rooms and have a bit of a look round, because sometimes it can be quite frightening actually referring yourself into therapy or anything else. I didn't know whether that's a kind of method that you've used before, or a communication that you've used before with partners, or whether the encouragement is always to refer a patient and the first contact is that holistic assessment of what they might need.
Well, no, not at all. I mean, obviously the building is open to the public, so it's open to anyone, even, you know, with cancer or not. And so actually we encourage people just come down and have a cup of tea or come and have a look round. And that's, we try and encourage as much as that as possible, really, so that people can just see what we're all about, even if at that time they don't want any support. Perhaps later they'll have the support, but just come and have a cuppa and have a look round, and there's so much information available to them as well. So yeah, we do encourage that, definitely.
I think once people come and see the building and meet the volunteers and everyone, and then I think that
It
kind of
sells itself, really. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And further to that, I guess, you know, thinking about innovation, the uniqueness about Aurora is around hanging it around heritage and community. And I think sometimes people struggle with that. What's the connection? But you know, we live in a very mobile society, and people don't have that vertical family support that they used to have. And so I think, you know, putting this into community and people's heritage is a very interesting way of looking at it. And certainly I've gone from someone who didn't understand it and was slightly sort of, how does this work? I think once you get into the building and you feel that support, then you understand what that offer is. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't have close family members, whether that's geographically or at all. So that's a real plus, I think, for Aurora. So well done. Looking at the questions, Natalie, you had a question you wanted to ask?
Yes, Louise. I've also seen Chloe's bobbed a question in the chat. Do you want to go through Chloe's first?
Okay, yeah, let's have a look. Chloe, sorry, Chloe, I missed that. Oh, do you offer any kinds of support for children of adults with cancer or long-term conditions?
Yes, we do. We have a children's cancer specialist art therapist who works with our children. So if their parents have cancer, they can access that as well. So we call it our family services side of things, and we've got a lovely room that's set up as art therapy, play therapy. So yes, we support those as well. So we try and support the whole family. So whether that be the partner of or friends, family of the person with cancer or their children. So yeah, we try and support the whole, everybody. Yeah.
And again, that's quite a unique thing, isn't it? There's not many family services in our area, so that's excellent. And is there an age criteria on that, or will you just take any member that can cope?
Yeah, there is an age criteria, but we try and support from sort of 8 years up to 18. That would be the children's service, and then from 18 plus is the counselling service, the adult counselling service. So we don't take the real littlies, but you know, we do take from 8 years. So yeah.
That's great. Thanks for that, Claire. And Sophie, who's on the call today, she's introduced herself. Hi, Sophie. She's a psychologist working in the cancer rehab service in Sheffield, which, of course, we know about at Aurora, the Active Together programme. And we also have services across South Yorkshire region. We often signpost people to Aurora if the patients are local, always keen to stay connected so that we can share and learn resources. Yes, thanks for that, Sophie. It's that collaborative working, isn't it, that's so good for all of our patients.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
you. Any other questions from anyone? Feel free to put them either in the Q&A or in the chat section.
I'll jump on the question, Louise, if that's okay.
Okay.
So out of interest, it's quite evident from your presentation that there's been so much effort and goodwill that's been put into Aurora to make this work. What would you say have been your biggest challenges when making this a success?
Oh, Natalie, you put us on the spot there. There's lots. I mean, I guess the biggest barrier for us probably is getting the support, financial support. I'll be honest, because there's lots of things that we'd like to run with, lots of things that we'd like to do. But of course, you know, like everybody, it comes down to having that financial support and that financial backing. So we are a charity, so we do need that is one of the barriers to getting you know what we need really. However, when we did the support hub, I guess it's making sure you've got everything that needs to go on there, and it's not easy to, when you're looking at putting things online. It's got to be received well, and I think when you did a lot of the IT side of things, and it's knowing sort of what's going to be best for clients when they're looking at that. You know, are they going to need the sleep? Are they going to need mindfulness? And so it's difficult to sort of gauge what people need really. So we've had to put it out there, but any feedback that that anyone can give us on that would be appreciated, because of course if it needs tweaking, then we can tweak that. If there's anything that's needed that's not there, then it'd be great if we could get sort of some more feedback from people, really.
And I think as well, engagement, I think, is quite a hit and miss. Getting people to engage with all the different services. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in their lives as well. So it's trying to, you know, plug the gaps and figure out where people need the support and providing that support as well.
I mean, in the video where Faith actually says that, you know, she didn't know about Aurora. She didn't know that these services were available. And she only knew through the Look Good Feel Better that we were out there, which is quite sad, really, because these services are there for us to offer, and perhaps people don't know about us. We do try and sort of market ourselves as much as we can, but, you know, word of mouth is massive. So, you know, please, everybody, pass the word on that we're here and that we offer these wonderful services.
So we've got another question for you. Well, an offer really, which is great. So Tracy, who's on the call, she works at the Cancer Alliance, and she's currently looking at reviewing cancer care that's normally done in primary care, so by GPs. And I don't know how much you'll be aware that the GP contract has changed. So cancer care reviews are no longer a sort of paid or financially incentivized thing that GPs are asked to do. So she's saying she would really like the opportunity to sit with you both and talk about how that might affect things, and, you know, maybe how you could bypass that. So that's an offer from Tracy. Tracy, I guess do you want the girls to get in touch with you? Do you want me to pass on your details, or do you want to put your details in the chat? She's typing. I suspect she's going to put the details in the chat box for you. Tracy is a highly motivated project manager who has headed up, she's put her email in the chat box.
Thank you.
She heads up the behavioural science work at the Cancer Alliance. So, you know, how do you get people to change their behaviour? How do you get people to engage with stuff? Wow. So, I think that would be a really useful connection to make for both of you. That would be fascinating. So thanks for that, Tracy.
Thank you.
And just thinking about your reach, and part of it is, as we say, bringing people into the centre for other things, and then maybe the realisation about what you do. Whether that's because if you bring people into the tea rooms, you might get some more support with funding, people using the charity shop. But I noticed that you have got a lot of dates for your diary out between now and December. Are they posted on your website? Is that where people access what you're up to?
Yeah, so everything that we've got going on, whether it's courses and workshops or fundraising events, it's all listed on the website.
Do you use any other channels to get your stuff out there?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, yeah, all of that is on the website, so you can find it there.
Brilliant, that's really helpful. So that's been absolutely marvellous. I mean, we do need to get all the good work that's Aurora doing out there. You know, it would be lovely if we thought we could support everybody with cancer and chronic disease, as well as you guys support people through Aurora. So hopefully people on the call today will take away what you're doing and maybe try and reproduce it elsewhere. That's brilliant. I need to make sure that everyone is aware, as I said at the beginning, that these webinars are going to be weekly. We're going to have some brilliant presentations from people from different themes. As I say, September's been our cancer month, but we're going to look at children and young people. We're going to look at prevention. We're going to look at workforce. We're going to look at the economics of everything we're trying to do in healthcare at the moment. And they'll run all the way through to the end of January 2026. If you want to sign up for those, then there's a link in the chat box. And you can register your interest for those webinars, and then you'll be sent an invite to join. So please do take advantage of that. So I'm just checking, making sure I'm not missing any questions. There's lots of lovely comments. This was really helpful. Thank you from Helena. Katie's written amazing work. Thank you. Chloe's written thank you both. That was so helpful to learn more. So well done, girls. You've done brilliantly. Thanks so much for your time today. It's not an easy thing to come along and do a presentation like that. We've all found it very valuable, so it's been worth the time and effort that you put into it. So thanks very much. And thanks obviously to Health Innovation South Yorkshire, Yorkshire and Humber, who have got these webinars up and running for us all to be inspired by. So thanks very much. Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.